Welcome, fellow bookworms, to Tibra's Den. My name is Whitney, and I have a Throwback Thursday for you guys. This is actually the Throwback Thursday from last week. As I mentioned before, I was sick, so I wasn't able to get a video out. So there's actually going to be two videos today. This one is for last week, and then I'll do one later on today that is for this Throwback Thursday. So definitely make sure you check out those. Or that video. And then also yesterday I did Wednesday's weekly read for last week and then Wednesday's weekly read for this week. But yeah, if you haven't already, please give this video a like, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on a thing. We do our book of the month discussion questions every Monday. We do a weekly read every Wednesday. Of course, our Throwback Thursday series Saturday has resumed, so those videos will be popping up here and there. And then I'm also working my way through my ABC Author Challenge books and my 25 Days of Bookmas books. And then also in yesterday's, the first video, I did talk about the rating system I'm doing this year, which is the CAWPILE rating system. If you want to learn more about that, the original creators channel will be linked down below, along with Emily Jean Blatt's channel, who's the person that I learned about the CAWPILE rating system from. So definitely check out both those channels if you want to learn more, or check out yesterday's, the first video, if you want to learn more about it just from me. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this week, or last week rather. We read I Rode a Horse of Milk White Jade by Diane Lee Wilson. And I loved this book so much. It's definitely more like of a middle grade. It says 10 and up. Um, but yeah, absolutely love this. The main character is about 12 years old, but there's such depth and the writing is absolutely wonderful. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and talk about this. I'll go ahead and go through what I rated it, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. So for this one, characters, I gave a 9. Honestly, I thought about giving a 10 all the way across the board, but I knew that was a little bit much. But I thought the characters were really well done. You really felt a connection to the main character, Oyana, and I don't know, I thought it was really well done. I mean, there was a little weakness here and there as far as characters that weren't the main character, but overall I thought they were done, and you really only need to know the main character anyway. So atmosphere, I gave a 10. I thought the atmosphere was done beautifully. It takes place in Mongolia, and I mean, just, you really felt you were traveling with Oyana, and it was just really, really beautiful. And I felt like I was there. It was easy to kind of visualize, and absolutely loved it. Writing style, I also gave a 10. Again, this really well written. It was easy to follow. It felt like you were there. The plot line was easy to follow along and everything. So I thought that was really done well. No confusion or anything like that, which is good because some of the words were um like Mongolian words, and it was still really easy to follow, even having different language in there as well. So that was writing. Plot, again, gave a 10. It really made sense, the whole plot line. I thought it was beautifully done. Intrigue, I gave a 9. I mean, pretty well pulled you right in, but I just thought there was a few areas that could have been done a little bit better. And then logic, gave a 10. It really made sense, like the flow of the story, everything that happened. And enjoyment, I gave a 9. Um, Again, it was hard to decide what to give a 10 and what to give a 9. Enjoyment, again, there was just a few things that it was like I would have liked to be a little bit more developed. But overall, I really, really enjoyed the story. So that gives it an overall average rating of 9.57, and star rating wise, that equals out to a 5-star rating. So as you can tell, really love this book. But basically it follows Oyana, and she is, when she was a toddler, a horse stepped on and crippled her foot. And so she's 12. Her parents are wanting to marry her off. She's old enough to be married off, but because of her crippled foot, they're having trouble marrying her off. And then the army comes, and her father ends up buying her horse. And what I liked is she has a crippled foot, but the horse that she chooses is injured and has a bum leg. But she wanted like this beautiful, well-bred horse that she could use in this race that would bring luck to her family. And the horse speaks to her, and that's why she chooses it. So she doesn't even choose it because she feels sorry for it or anything like that. She chooses it for another reason, which I really really like that aspect. But anyway, the army comes, Khan army, Kublai Khan army comes and steals her horse, and she's gonna go along with it. And they try to take some of the men from the village too for the army, and so she ends up taking her stepbrother's place, because he's scared and doesn't want to go. Like he's, I think, 10 or something like that. And the her stepmom pinches the back of his knee to make it look like he seems lame, hoping they won't take him. But the guy says, "Well, you can ride a horse, lame or not." And so Oyana ends up taking his place so she can stay with her mare, which I loved. And then it just goes on this grand adventure. And the underlying plot is still trying to find a swift horse to ride in the race. But in the meantime, she's going on this amazing adventure, trying to stay with her mare. Like she has a lot of loyalty to her mare. And then she has this cat named Bader, and I don't know, I absolutely loved it. And in this culture, they don't name their animals, but she's named both her horse and her cat, which is kind of funny. And yeah, she ends up going on this grand adventure, and it leads her to Kublai Khan's palace. And what I really enjoyed about this book is I ended up looking up the history to see how accurate it was. And from what I can tell, it was very, very accurate down to Kublai Khan's wife who died and everything. Like even the year she died is accurately portrayed in this book, and the tribe that Oyana's from, like that's portrayed accurately. And so I really like that because I learned a lot of history that I didn't know, just because I was curious, and so I looked it up, and I thought the author did a really good job at that. The reason why some parts were a little bit lower was like towards the end, like she gets married and everything, and that part was kind of rushed. Like I thought that it could have either been a little bit longer a book to more develop that part of the story, or it could have maybe spent less time on some of her other adventures going, through the beginning of the book. Because like she gets married, and you get a small sense of her husband, but not a very good sense of him. And so I really wish that had been more developed. And also what I liked is it's presented in the fashion of a grandmother telling her granddaughter the story. They're waiting in the stall for this mare to foal, and so she's telling her granddaughter the story of when she left home and her journey to race in this amazing race. And so there's like several different like subplots and everything, but it's just very very beautifully written, like pulls you right in. I think this is one that's great for any age, like I said, from 10 to however old you want to read it at. Because I thought the story was very well developed and was very enjoyable. And you get to learn a little bit about a different culture and a different history that you may not necessarily know, because I certainly didn't. So I thought that was really, really cool as well. But that's it. I'm going to go ahead and leave that here for this book. Remember, this afternoon will be another video covering this week's Throwback Thursday, which was another one that I enjoyed. It was a solid read. Not near as good as this one, of course, but pretty solid read. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and leave you here. Definitely check out this book. You don't need to be a horse lover to read it. Like the story itself is absolutely amazing, and I like that it has that different culture aspect as well. But anyway, that's it for now. Happy reading, everyone. Bye.